This is Glow in the Dark Radio. The science fiction podcast with original independent science fiction written and performed by Mike Luoma, with music by Kevin MacLeod. The Vatican Assassin Trilogy and The Adventures of Alibi Jones by Mike Luoma are available in ebook, trade paperback, and audiobook wherever you find your books online. Get links and details at glowinthedarkradio.com. This is the Science Fiction Podcast, Glow in the Dark Radio. I'm your host, your writer and reader, Mike Luoma, and I have Chapter 14 of Alibi Jones and the Hornet's Nest coming up on this episode. Though Alibi Jones and his Covert-Ops team were ultimately successful on their first mission, things went badly enough that Alibi wondered if they might have been set up to fail, to make him look bad. Or maybe he's just being a little bit paranoid. Can be hard to tell when there actually are people out to get you, So, as we get into this chapter, there's a little bit of a time jump. We jump ahead a couple months. And we actually place jump at the same time at the start of the chapter. We're going to head to the planet Her and see what Kit and Katie have been up to, before we catch up with Alibi and his Covert-Ops team. Coming up on this episode of Glow in the Dark Radio. Once again, a thank you to patrons for helping to keep the show going, and an invitation to join us. Can use your help. It's all voluntary. It's up to you if you're into supporting Glow in the Dark Radio. Head to patreon.com/glowinthedarkradio, and you can become a patron for $2, $5, or $10 a month. And you get extras and things, and right now it's mostly getting episodes a little bit early as you help support the podcast. Another early episode this week for patrons. Have not had any luck yet on resolving the issues with the paperback of Alibi Jones' 6 short stories. So, sent another email off to Lulu this week saying, hey, you're not being specific about what's wrong and you're still not approving it. Could you help? Lulu, they used to be so good. But, I've been working with them now since 2005. So 20 years gives a company some time to change, and not always for the better. I've been working with Podomatic, my podcasting host, since 2009. They were actually my second host. I was already a little ways in when I switched over to them, about 3 years into the podcast. But they've been great. Very accommodating and working with me all along, knowing I don't need a lot of bells and whistles. And they distribute it all over the place, so you can pretty much listen to this podcast everywhere. Did you know you can listen to this podcast on YouTube? Just look for Mike Luoma's Glow in the Dark Radio on YouTube. As I mentioned, it's hosted at Podomatic, but you can get it pretty much everywhere. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, Player FM, iHeartRadio, Odyssey. It's on Ghana in India and Boomplay in Africa and Deezer. Lots of places to listen. Which I'm mentioning in case you just came across this somewhere and you want to add it to your podcast player. It's pretty much available everywhere. We're going to get into Chapter 14 of Alibi Jones and the Hornet's Nest next on Glow in the Dark Radio.
Under 30,000 feet of water, the exploration rig Leaguer has discovered an oil field larger than Saudi Arabia. With oil so sweet and pure, nations would go to war for the rights to it. But as the team starts drilling exploration wells in their race to claim the sweet crude, a deep rumbling beneath the ocean floor shakes them to their core. Something has been living in the oil. Paul E. Cooley's The Black is a techno-horror thriller reminiscent of movies such as Leviathan and The Thing, and puts terror right into readers' ears. The Black, a free podcast novel available from shadowpublications.com and iTunes. Ocean exploration will never be the same.
Now here's Chapter 14 of Alibi Jones and the Hornet's Nest on Glow-in-the-Dark Radio.
I would have a word with you, Kitrafundler Grundler said to his father, Rakar Frandler Grundler. I wish to once again register my disapproval. You have made a misjudgment. You should not have sent Kitrafundler Grundler to work with the humans.
In the hallway outside of Rakar's den, Katie adjusted the volume on her translator, turning it up. She knew she shouldn't be listening in. Still, had to know if they were talking about her. Not yet. It was him again.
Oh? Rakar asked. You mean with Alibi Jones, of course. Have you come up with another reason I was wrong? Yes, Kit said. So then, Rakar said, something else besides the fact that, let me see here, what was the first one?
Rakar stroked the fur of his chin, making a show of remembering.
The fact that the only reason for this fraud of a covert operation, as you labeled it, not a real mission team, was that the Kismet affair went public and a discredited Alibi Jones was forced undercover to protect himself. Rakar asked.
He paused for a moment. Kit didn't respond.
Or the second one, he continued. Must have been hard for you to say this. That the Greater Ta are our allies now, and this could damage our relationship with them. Or number 3.
Rakar paused, thinking again.
Oh, what was it last time? That the border area over there is controlled by ruthless warlords who have no love for we Dakur. Was that it?
Kit continued to face his father in silence.
Yes, I believe it was the ruthless warlords, wasn't it? Rakar said,
answering his own question, as Kit stood by, mute, glaring.
Each a little weaker in turn, eh?
Rakar returned his glare with the Dakur equivalent of a smile.
Do you mock me, father? Kit asked. Not at all, Rakar said. I have merely repeated your past objections, so that we may move on to your next. Now, what is it this time?
Kit bristled, the ruff of his neck standing up a bit, spiky.
You do mock me. I do not, Rakar insisted. Please tell me, I am listening.
Katie shifted uneasily in her seat, frowning. She didn't know the Kismet stuff had gotten out like that. She and Alibi reported it all to his safe superiors after they'd gotten back almost a year ago. That seemed to be the end of it. Everybody said it was an accident. Done and over with. She'd moved on. She made sure her mother and father had both survived, but then had to shut down their repeated attempts to get in touch with her. She didn't want to get involved with them again, not now. She tried to forget about Alibi Jones, too. But Kit often brought him up in some way or another, usually to make a negative comment or point. It was annoying how often Alibi's name came up. It wasn't always Kit. When Kat left to join him, she'd involuntarily had to find out Alibi had received a new assignment. Funny, Kit had been protesting that move ever since. Typical Kit, she thought. She couldn't get comfortable. The hallway chair was a larger one, but still made for the smaller Dakur frame. She hadn't noticed at first how uncomfortable even comfortable Dakur chairs could be. She seemed to be noticing more and more little things bothering her about the planet. Maybe it's time, she said to herself, and missed the start of Kit's answer.
Diplomatic Dakur acting as a commercial Dakur. You allowing Catra von Grundler to work for Alibi Jones is disgracing our family.
What? Katie didn't realize she'd said it out loud, but both Kit and Rakar now stood in the doorway looking at her. Sorry, she said. I overheard you.
That is quite all right, Rakar said.
He sounded extremely loud in her ears, but she couldn't turn the translator's volume back down inconspicuously while the two stood right in front of her.
I was about to ask him the same thing.
Kit didn't say anything. That's dumb, Kit, Katie said. And it can't be true. If he's going by your family name, he's not doing a very good job of staying undercover.
Well, yes, Rakar said. He is calling himself Catra von Grundler, but he is pretending to have gone rogue and run away. That is his cover. He must. He cannot hide that he is from a diplomatic family now, can he?
He can't? Katie asked.
No, Rakar said.
He seemed puzzled by her reaction.
He cannot, Kit said. You humans have not bothered to learn the difference.
Yet, Katie said, sticking up for humankind. Come on, Kit. You know subtle stuff like that takes time to learn.
If one bothers to actually try, Kit said. Each of our divisions has its own unique skull structure, Rakar said to Katie. Our color patterns are also different. Some coloring is shared, but others are exclusive to division.
Okay, Katie said. That's a couple things. We'll learn.
Some of you may, in time, as you say, Rakar said. No matter. As Catra von Grundler is supposed to be a rogue diplomatic d'accord, acting as a commercial d'accord, that is his cover. It sounds to me like he is doing his job. It reflects no disgrace upon our family, Kit. What if they find out he has not truly gone rogue? Kit asked. What if the humans grow fur? Rakar asked. Now I am mocking you.
Kit glared back at his father. Katie tried to defuse the situation. Hey, I heard that other thing. Sorry, I couldn't help it. Is it true? She asked them. Did they tell everybody? Alibi blew up Kismet? Really?
They did, Kit said. I am afraid the Kismet affair is now common knowledge, Rakar said. The new human leader Nico Constantine seems to have a vendetta against Alibi Jones.
He's not the only one, Katie cracked, as she glared at Kit.
I no longer care about Alibi Jones, Kit said.
He looked away from Katie's glare and away from Rakar. But Rakar was watching him.
That is why you were just bringing him up, eh? Rakar said. And why you have told me something about him once a month, every month, since Catra von Grundler left. I bring up what I believe to be an incorrect decision, Kit said. I cannot help that he is the human involved.
You've really got to give this up, Kit, Katie said. After all, he did risk his life to rescue you, us, from Kismet. That should be worth something.
I did not ask to be rescued, Kit said.
Katie stared at him for a moment. I give up, she said.
I am reminded, Rakar said, that someone is still atoning for his actions in the Kismet affair. Catra von Grundler, don't you have some records work to do in the basement?
As if the air was let out of him, Kit crumpled a bit.
Indeed,
Kit said. He bowed to Rakar, gave Katie a nod, and then turned and walked away from them down the hall. How long does he have to atone for? Katie asked, as she watched him slink away. It's been a long time.
I will tell him when he is done, Rakar said.
Oh.
But part of what he is atoning for is his attitude, Rakar told her. And that has not yet changed.
He looked down the now empty hall. Katie reached up behind her head to the nape of her neck and turned down the volume on her translator. Rakar turned back.
Was there something you wanted to see me about? He asked.
You know, maybe there is, Rakar. I was thinking it might be time for me to move on. Running cargo again? Alibi sighed as he scrolled down the readout. Brisby shrugged. Don't know what's on the crystals, Alibi, Brisby said. I'll just transport them to you. Alibi resisted the urge to punch Brisby as he stood there in front of him, smiling a smarmy smile. And all we're transporting these days are shipments of industrial parts and other worthless cargoes, Alibi said.
They are not worthless to those colonies who require the parts to live, Cat observed.
Alibi, Brisby, Emily, and Cat were in Alibi's office on the base. Alibi had the secure communications unit out on his desk, where it displayed the crystal's message. Emily leaned over Alibi's shoulder to get the details on the cargo run from the display. "I'm getting tired of this," Alibi declared. Emily backed up at his volume. "Gotta establish our cover," Brisby offered. "And 5 weeks' worth of milk runs hasn't done that?" No one answered his rhetorical question. They'd taught Alibi during his brief Covert-Ops coursework that the key to a good cover story was establishing a public presence with that cover. Thus, if you were going to pretend to be a freelance cargo hauler in the human colony worlds beyond the Solar Alliance, out past the Border World Depot, you have to haul cargo. And that's all they'd been doing now, for over a month. Most of their runs were Solar Alliance cargoes, their missions, but Alibi and his team had also been trying to drum up business for themselves. Emily proved a good choice as business manager. She made calls, placed ads in spaceports around the Fringe, got the word out about the A.D. Foster and their new service. Cat was a competent co-pilot, kept to himself during most of their downtime. Brisby didn't stick around the base much, but he wasn't supposed to. He'd give Alibi the crew's next assignment and then take off on a stinger ship that stopped in for a quick visit. Or he'd ride with them on the cruiser and jump off when they transferred cargo at a busy port. He wouldn't have left Argentium with them if the place hadn't been falling apart. Alibi hadn't considered leaving Brisby behind. That was early on. These days, now that I know the man a bit, I might reconsider. Alibi found Brisby's family claims tedious, the man himself arrogant and overbearing. But Brisby did bring them their safe assignment crystals, and their safe financing, for now, made him bearable. After the success of their high-risk first mission and job, the safe made it easier to look like they were in business by supplying them with cash payroll payments and mission support. Alibi and his crew needed the help as they struggled to establish themselves. The safe kept them busy, too, supplementing their paltry 2, so far, regular freight hauling contracts with another 3 missions, little more than glorified low-risk cargo runs. Eventually, the safe would cut their purse strings. For their deep cover to be convincing, Alibi and his crew had to live the life and make their own living. Expected still, of course, to remain available if their team was needed by the safe. But not yet. "I'm supposed to ride with you to Depot this time," Brisby said. "Not sure what you're picking up, but I guess you're heading back there first. They said you'd drop me off. Got passage booked on another ship out of Depot, heading back into the solar system." Alibi looked up at Emily. "You get what you need?" "Yup," she said. "It was, very, entertaining." She smirked. Alibi read through the message. "No real need to send this covertly." "We're picking up a shipment of entertainment units on Depot," Alibi told Cat and Brisby. "They're bound for Kerry, a small colony world out in the expanses."
"More fun and excitement,"
Cat said, displaying his growing fondness for sarcasm, a trait he was picking up from Emily. "Aren't you sad you're going to miss our trip out to Kerry?" Alibi asked Brisby. "You'll miss all the fun and excitement." "Must head back to Ceres Central for some reason," Brisby said. "Maybe it's to pick up a more important assignment," he offered, trying to sound optimistic. "Let's hope so," Alibi said. He frowned. "When I went Covert-Ops, thought I would actually be doing more ops." The trip to Depot was a routine run. Cargo pickup went off without a hitch. Emily handled the transfer details like an old pro. Brisby dropped out of sight at some point, off to Ceres. Alibi didn't notice him leave the ship. The A.D. Foster was soon underway without him, queuing up at the Depot Transpace point to head out to Kerry. They flashed out of Transpace close to Kerry, a small blue-green world orbiting a yellow star, the type that usually attracted human colonists. Alibi knew from some quick research they'd founded the colony about 10 years ago. Terraforming operations remained underway, helping the inhabitants carve out a basic existence. Some small-scale farming operations were managing to succeed, but the world needed to ship in most of the foods its people ate, clothes they wore, most other goods they used as well. Made for a busy spaceport on the small planet. The Foster made good time, ground control directing them down into a landing bay with no delays. With all its traffic, Carey's port was a finely run machine, fast and efficient. Upon touchdown, Alibi exited the ship to find two of Carey's government agents waiting for them, a squad of troopers standing by. No one was armed, they were there for the offloading. They quickly went to work. Alibi sighed. He leaned against the side of the ship and watched the colonial government's troops carry off the cargo, his checked-off bill of lading in hand. Boring. Excuse me, an older, well-dressed, gray-haired gentleman called over to Alibi as he approached the cruiser. Are you Alibi Jones? Depends on who's asking, Alibi said. The older man extended his hand. Name's Billy, the man said. Billy Gentry. That was Chapter 14 of Alibi Jones and the Hornet's Nest, part of the Adventures of Alibi Jones Chronological Omnibus on Glow-in-the-Dark Radio. Well, hello, Mr. Billy Gentry. I guess it was just a matter of time. We'll get properly introduced when we get into our next episode on Glow-in-the-Dark Radio, Chapter 15. Once again, a thank you to patrons for being here for the podcast and helping to support it. You can become a patron yourself and do the same for $2, $5, or $10 a month. Just head to patreon.com/glowinthedarkradio to find out more. And that is all for this week. I'm your host, your writer and reader, Mike Luoma. Thank you again for listening to Glow in the Dark Radio. Glow in the Dark Radio. This podcast presentation is copyright 2026 by Michael F. Luoma and is protected under a Creative Commons Attribution, Non-Commercial, No Derivatives 4.0 International License, CC by NC-ND 4.0. Music by Kevin MacLeod. You can find his work at Incompetech.com. Mike's books are available in ebook, paperback, and audiobook, wherever you find books online. Get links and more details at glowinthedarkradio.com and mikeluoma.com. This has been a presentation of Glow in the Dark Radio.